I thought it could be interesting to look at the hobbies that I have and to see if I can connect them to my cognitive functions to understand a bit better why I enjoy the hobbies I do. I will start by looking at reading. I have to break it down into genres because there are 4 main genres I like, and they weirdly and conveniently fit in perfectly with my cognitive functions. First up is fantasy. I love the fantasy genre because I get to escape into another world where there are mythical creatures, magic, stunning forests, and the life of the characters is so very different from the boring life of a typical person today, who just gets up, goes to work, comes home, eats dinner, watches TV, goes to bed, and then hits replay for the next day. My NI loves to imagine myself running through a forest with a bow and arrow, feeling the wind in my hair while I climb up trees, or planning out how to use my magical powers to save my family from an evil king. Reading is a massive escapism for me, and fantasy novels are brilliant for me to imagine a life way more interesting than the one I currently have, as sadly, I can't fly up to the top of a building and watch the sunrise every morning. I don't live in the middle of a beautiful forest, where I can go for a run with my trusty dog and not a care in the world, and I don't have some divine purpose to save the world, and I need to work on my powers to do that. The next genre is for my FE. It's romance, specifically historical romance, as again, I love to imagine myself back in the 1800s, dancing in balls, going for walks in the beautiful English countryside, with Elizabeth and Jane Bennet for company. I'm definitely a romantic at heart, but I do find the common era makes it much harder to be romantic, and stories about how people date nowadays just doesn't appeal to me as much as how things used to be. The third genre is crime and detective novels. This was the first genre I was drawn to, and that is definitely for my TI. I love the novels where I go along with a detective and get to solve the crime alongside them. My favourite will always be Sherlock Holmes, because the varied role and intense knowledge he has on reading people has always fascinated me, and it would be an amazing skill to have. This genre is also the one I often choose for films and TV series, like Supernatural, which I'm watching at the moment. I've worked a lot on my TI over the years, and I do really enjoy problem solving, especially if it ends up saving people's lives or catching the bad guy. That's why I did a criminology degree, until I found out that the realistic job role for a police detective is not quite what I envisaged it to be. And the fourth and final genre that I like for books is on things I want to do more of, like gardening and growing my own food. So this goes along with my SE because it involves gathering new information. I've always loved to learn and expand my knowledge, especially when it comes to what I want to do in the future. And as I have plans to become more self-sufficient and grow some of my own food, this is a big interest in me. But unlike the other 3 genres, I don't use this one to escape. It has a different purpose for me. Now on to some of the other hobbies I enjoy. Listening to music always helps me to escape with my NI and imagine things, but it also focuses me when I'm working, or distracts me when I'm worried about things. I also enjoy it because I can sing along, or become nostalgic about a time that we used to listen to it before, like being on holiday. Cross-stitch and paint by numbers give me a way to be creative and use my NI, without feeling bad because I can't actually draw, which my TI often likes to remind me if I try. I enjoy researching things and learning more about topics I'm interested in, which uses both my NI and my TI, as well as a bit of SE for the new information. I watch TV in the evening with my partner, which uses my SE, but I also often do something alongside it, like play a game or do a crossword puzzle, which uses my NI or TI as well, unless we are watching something that specifically uses my NI and TI, like a detective show, for example. I find I often have to do something to use my NI and TI alongside watching something to stop me from constantly predicting what is going to happen in the show, which probably annoys my partner, though he says he finds it fun to see whether I will actually get it right or wrong. I enjoy going for rides on my motorbike, both alone so I can think, which uses my NI, or with my partner, which uses more FE. I like being out in nature, but I prefer being away from people, otherwise my FE takes over, and I can't enjoy the beauty with my SE, and daydream with my NI. I enjoy playing games with goals to work towards, because my NI likes achieving goals, and some of the goals I have in my life aren't that quick and easy to complete, so the games make me feel like I'm still achieving something. I also enjoy playing games with my mum, where we work together to complete things, and that uses my FE. I like baking, mainly desserts and cakes, which uses both my FE and my SE, but I can't do that often sadly as it's not really that healthy. I have found that many of my hobbies don't involve FE very much. I could, for example, do a cross-stitch piece for someone, and that would use my FE a bit, but I find I tend to need a break from being focused on other people, so my hobbies tend to involve just me and are often more introverted. I definitely use my hobbies to recharge, which is probably why they are mainly focused around my introverted functions, and involve enabling me to let my mind wander into my NI without the pressures from daily life interfering. I hope you found it interesting to look at some of my hobbies and which cognitive functions they primarily use. Obviously, they don't always use one function, but I find that when I'm needing to use a certain function more, I will go to the hobby that uses it a lot. If you are interested, I can leave a link below to see some of the books I enjoy reading, and maybe some of the hobbies I mentioned. I am planning on doing book reviews on my website at some point, so I will link to that once I'm ready. Thank you for your time.